This week on the Four Rivers Ag Report, what's the best way to keep your soil and your wallet healthy? And what does crop guy Matt Bennett have to report? Also, I've tried running, I've tried sweating to the oldies. Now you want me to try what? That and much more on the Four Rivers Ag Report. Welcome to the Four Rivers Ag Report. I'm Fred Peralta. Now I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there staring at the field thinking, wouldn't it be nice if I could just start up the tractor and now stop it. It's only February, for goodness sake. But it's never too early to think about taking care of the one thing that makes money for you, your soil. If you don't believe that, what are the latest yield totals on a parking lot? After a summer like last year, taking care of your land can make a huge difference in this season and the next and the next. We're going to start visiting with the National Conservation Resource Service folks once a month and find out the latest on how to keep your soil healthy and you happy. Troy Fehrenbacher is here. He's a soil scientist, and he's going to tell me how to keep our soil healthy. I didn't think soil could get sick.
Well, it's not necessarily get sick, but there's things that we can do to keep it from getting sick or make it be more healthy as we would.
So what sort of things can a farmer do to keep the soil healthy and productive?
Well, there's four big things that are just basic key principles that one can follow to do a healthy soil. One of them would be just to keep the soil covered as much as possible.
By covered, you mean no-till?
No-till, cover crops.
Okay.
Both of these type of things will help to give a covering across the soil. So if you have, let's say, a rainfall event, you have plant material that can intercept raindrops.
Okay.
And so instead of hitting bare soil, and that's where your erosion starts, you have a raindrop hits bare soil, your soil particles become suspended in the water, they start to run off, and there's your erosion. And so having cover crops, which is live, or having no-till debris, dead, that will intercept that raindrop and at least reduce erosion, maybe even completely eliminate it.
So is erosion the only thing we need to worry about as far as soil health?
Oh, no. Erosion, that's just one part of it.
Okay.
Another part would be, your nutrients.
Okay.
One of our principles that we actually have here too is to keep a living root in the system all the time, or as much as possible.
Okay, anyway. So the practice of tilling up and having a nice clean black field from November to April is not necessarily the best for the soil.
Exactly. If you can keep a living root in the soil, like with a cover crop, this can actually help to feed the soil. A lot of our cover crops that they promote are what we call nutrient scavengers.
Okay.
And so some of them are very, very efficient about scavenging nitrogen.
Okay.
Nobody likes to put on more nitrogen than they have to. So a lot of these cover crops are able to go in and fix a lot of the nitrogen, or they grab hold of a lot of that nitrogen that didn't get used during the growing season. They take that up and it's sitting in there in that cover crop. Whenever they come and destroy that cover crop, then to plant again in the spring, that nitrogen is there for plant use.
Okay.
Another aspect is phosphorus. A lot of the plants that they use for cover crops are really good phosphorus scavengers.
Okay.
A lot of the cover crops that you plant actually have a lot better root system, or a lot deeper root system than a lot of the traditional commodity crops. So these roots are able to get down lower in the soil profile than a typical commodity crop is, and they are allowed to bring those nutrients back up to the surface. So you're essentially nutrient recycling.
Okay, so you're bringing things back to the topsoil that may be a little bit further deeper down than the roots of corn and soybeans normally grow.
Yes.
Okay, so we have water cover for water erosion purposes and nutrition of soil. What about compaction? Doesn't no-till compact the soil more?
It does and it doesn't. There's concern that whenever you go from a conventional tillage system to a no-till system, that you are going to see compaction, and you probably will.
Okay.
See something for the first few years. What's going on in those situations is, in a no-till situation, you have really nice soil formation.
Okay.
Your structure is there. You have nice structure, which is basically porosity, which allows roots to penetrate down
Okay.
through it. You have more pores for the water to infiltrate.
Right.
So that's in a basic no-till system after it's been established.
Okay.
To get there, from going from a conventional tillage to a no-till system, you have this a field that has been tilled traditionally, and it's fluff. It doesn't have any good soil aggregates. There's no structure, and so through the process of not tilling this and you're running heavy equipment over this, you are going to compact for a few years.
Okay.
It's not just a straight, I'm going to not go from conventional tillage to no-till and it's going to be perfect. 2, 3, 4 years, I think, is what most people will say on average. And then you'll start getting this aggregate stability, the soil structure, if you will, start forming back. And at that point, you're going to start seeing the benefits.
Okay. So it may take a few years for the compaction issue to become a non-issue.
Exactly.
Now, is that the only 3 things we need to worry about as far as soil health goes? Nutrition, erosion, compaction, or are there other things we should worry about?
Oh, there's always other things to worry about. One of the things we're talking about, and we keep on talking about no-till. That's a huge thing. With promoting healthy soils, one of the biggest goals for a lot of people is to increase that organic matter.
Okay.
And the worst thing you can do if you want to increase organic matter is go till the soil. As soon as you till that soil open, all that organic matter that you worked so hard during the year to accumulate, it's gone.
Okay.
Air hits it, it oxidizes, and so there your organic matter is out the window. So no-till systems, again, that's really good. Another point we always make is you want to try and promote as much soil biological diversity with the microflora as you can. And this is usually accomplished largely through crop rotations, crop diversity. A lot of producers are already promoting soil health issues by doing no-till, by doing crop rotations. Crop rotations bring in a typical corn, soybean, maybe a corn, soybean, wheat. All these crops have a certain microflora, microbes, fungus, bacteria that are associated, really thrive around the plant roots of those particular crops. So whenever you start eliminating something out of that rotation, commodity crops have been really high lately. Corn's really high. So people are starting to eliminate that bean and wheat and going corn, corn, corn. And so you start losing that diversity.
So you're not only having to add nutrients to the soil if you go corn on corn on corn, but you're also eliminating some of the microorganisms that help create a healthy soil base.
Exactly.
Troy, thank you so much. We're looking forward to having the NRCS back once a month, and thanks for coming.
No problem. Enjoyed it.
Monica Becker is here with news of farm incomes and why you might not want to be dirt poor. Monica?
Thanks, Fred. I'm Monica Becker. The USDA released its net farm income forecast for 2013, and you might want to get a bigger piggy bank. Adjusting for inflation, farm income is estimated to be $128.2 billion nationwide. That's the highest amount since 1973. But I'll have to take your word on that. The report expects record crop production levels, resulting in substantial year-end crop inventories, and that will mean a higher bottom line. But what does that mean to the average farm household? Projected in 2012, median total farm income is expected to increase 1.2% to $57,700, and by an additional 2% in 2013 to $58,800. That's fine, but how about the next decade even? The USDA released a report this week that showed long projections of grain usage and prices. The report forecasted that corn acreage is projected to remain high in the near term and demand should remain relatively high, although there will be less demand from the ethanol industry. But will we keep $7 corn? Most likely not, but the projections show $4 to $5 corn prices through 2023. Soybean demand will continue to be high and plantings will increase a bit. The report suggested that soybeans will drop from this year's high and settle in the $10 to $11 range for the next 10 years. Farmers attending this year's Illinois Pork Expo in Peoria were reminded of the importance of feed conversion rates to the economics of their operations. Todd Gleason has more on some simple things producers can do to increase feed efficiencies.
The simple things sometimes make a really big difference. It's one of many themes University of Illinois swine nutritionist Hans Stein struck during his presentation at the Illinois Pork Expo. He told the producers the economics of weight gain, the conversion of feed to pounds, starts with eliminating some simple problems.
And they can do that by, first of all, focusing on not wasting any feed, so get the feeders adjusted correctly and make sure the pigs don't waste any feed. They can look at formulating the diets correctly to have the correct amount of nutrients in the diet, but not over-formulated, so not feed too much of any nutrients. And they also need to look at using the most inexpensive feed ingredients that are available.
Often, says Stein, there are ingredients other than corn and soybean meal which can be efficiently substituted into the feed ration.
There are a number of products coming out of the wet milling industry, corn gluten meal, corn gluten feed, corn germ meal, which is a defatted corn germ. It's a very good ingredient, and there are some newer products also, corn extractives and some other things that they mix together. So there are a number of products there that can be used in diets for pigs, but maybe 20%, maybe 25% in that area. And right now, that is a very good buy, so it will lower feed costs if we include some of those ingredients.
He cautions producers choosing alternative feed ingredients to work with a nutritionist or a feed company to ensure the diets are correctly formulated. Substituting feed ingredients is not a one-for-one balance. For University of Illinois Extension, I'm Todd Gleason.
This week, TIAA-CREF, a New York City-based financial service company, announced a $5 million pledge to the University of Illinois to establish a center for farmland research. The center will research issues such as farmland values, taxation, rental agreements, and other issues that relate to farmland markets. The center hopes to be open by next month. Now, if you're finding it hard to lose that 10 pounds that you put on for Christmas, you might want to try gardening. According to Martha Smith, a University of Illinois Extension horticulture educator, working in your garden can help your yard and your waistline look good. Most gardening activities, from digging and spading to bagging leaves, can burn between 150 to 200 calories every 30 minutes. Even mowing your lawn on a riding lawnmower can burn up to 100 calories. Compare that to what you're doing now, watching TV, only about 40 to 60 calories. So does Farmville count? Now, from growing what you eat to eating what it grows in, Reuters reports that at a restaurant in Tokyo, Japan, Chef Toshio Tanabe is cooking with a secret ingredient, and it's not dirt cheap. He's making specialty dishes using soil. He offers a 6-course dinner that goes from soil soup to soil sorbet. He gets specialty soils delivered, then he cleans it and bakes it to release the flavor. He then uses the dirt to carefully flavor various dishes. His specialty is a soil surprise, a dirt-covered potato ball with a truffle center. The surprise to me is the cost. The 6-course dinner costs about $110. So it looks like this chef's dirty deeds aren't done dirt cheap. That's it for this week. I'm Monica Becker.
Joining us this week on our Crop Guide Tour is our Shelby County correspondent extraordinaire, Matt Bennett. Matt, you're one of the young guns in the group, not to suggest you're a babe in the woods, but what was your reaction from last year planting season?
Last year's planting season actually was one of the best planting seasons we could have ever hoped for.
Right.
It was started out without a hitch. We were able to have really good weather and good forecasts moving forward to where we knew we weren't necessarily in a huge rush like we are usually, and so we actually had a little bit of downtime here and there. We quit a little earlier some nights. It just couldn't have worked better, and we all said, you know, we're a little bit worried about what's to come because the spring went so smoothly.
And the other shoe dropped, didn't it?
Yes.
So, you know, various areas I was impressed with. First of all, we all are in trouble, but various different areas had different levels of trouble. Now, you got some rain midsummer, didn't you?
We didn't get much midsummer, but we were able to get quite a bit of rain just in time for most of our bean crop.
Okay.
Our corn crop, for the most part, was devastated, and we were able to have the right type of insurance to where we did okay financially. But our average yield over our entire crop was maybe 60 to 70 bushel. In a normal year, we'd probably be 170.
Right.
And so, we were definitely less than half. And then on the beans, we actually ended up thinking our beans were going to make 25 or 30, and they ended up, averaging around 50 over the entire crop. So we were thrilled with that.
So beans saved the day in a way.
Yes, most definitely.
Okay. So you got out. We're shaping up a somewhat similar year weather-wise, aren't we? Or it looks like that way.
Yeah, last year, we went into the spring with a fair amount of moisture. Personally, I know a lot of areas were a little bit dry, but if you look at last year compared to this year, we're actually a lot drier in a lot of more areas in the Midwest than what we were last year going into the spring. So it's a little bit concerning. But as far as I'm concerned on my farm, I feel really good about the spring.
Tough luck for the other guy.
Yeah, I think whenever you get in certain parts of the Corn Belt, it's real scary.
Right.
But as far as we're concerned, we've got good subsoil moisture. Our tiles are running. It's a good sign. And we feel pretty confident about the way we're starting out the year.
So what are the farmers around you thinking and doing? Are they going corn on corn? Are they going to rotate? What's the deal?
I would say there's not been a huge switch, but I do know that a lot of neighbors are talking that the corn on corn hasn't been the best for them the last few years. And so I think there's probably a small shift to more of a 50-50 rotation, or switching corn acres back to beans instead of corn on corn. I think it's going to be a little less percentage-wise corn than what we've had in the last several years.
Okay, now the USDA this week estimated that corn acreage is going to stay the same or go a little bit higher long term. Do you see that, or you see that it's pretty much 50-50 split?
I think the Corn Belt has shown they really like growing corn. And so, whenever we look at it from our farm's perspective, we anticipate a good weather spring producing a large amount of acres of corn, because most guys really enjoy planting corn. And so my guesstimate most years would be weather dependent. We're looking at very high acreage for corn. Now, I don't think that the percentages are going to change drastically. I can see, 95 to 100 million acres of corn for the next several years, and then, in that 80 million acre on beans. So whenever we keep that in mind, we try to do a little risk management ahead of time, just in case we have that 100 million acres, and we have a little bit of a floor for prices.
Now, speaking of risk management, you in your relatively short-term time farming have used crop insurance, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. What are the farmers around you who is almost everybody going to be getting crop insurance this year?
You know a handful of guys that don't carry crop insurance. This past year, I wouldn't say guys were real outspoken about it, because it was a huge issue and it was a very sensitive issue. But I would say, you're looking at probably 80% or better of guys that I know that are using crop insurance. The ones that aren't maybe are the very established, later in their crop or farming years. They may not feel like they need it, and so they don't buy it. But for the most part, guys that are my age and in my area of age, they're definitely buying crop insurance because it's a necessity.
It's a real valuable risk management tool, isn't it?
Right, most definitely.
So when are you thinking? Are you going to wait until April, waiting to see what the crop insurance price is before planting? Are you, what are you thinking of early spring?
Well, we're looking at probably the same type of thing we did last year. If the weather's phenomenal, we'll go ahead and get in the field. But we would like to wait on the insurance time frame, which usually is around the 5th to the 6th of April. And so that's what we're planning on.
So we'll be talking to you as you get going in planting. And Matt, thank you so much for helping us last year. And thank you in advance for helping us out this year.
Thank you.
Well, we are excited about starting another new segment this week. It's called Inside Extension. And to host a new segment, we meet a new person, Jessica Killow. Jessica, you're a local girl, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I went to high school here. I got my undergrad at Eastern and getting my grad in May at Eastern.
Well,
so.
there you go. You are a local girl through and through, and you just started working for the U of I Ag Extension in Coles County.
Did.
And what are you going to be doing there?
I'm their marketing and communications program coordinator, so just letting the community know everything about Extension, what we're doing, all the programs we're hosting, everything.
Well, now is probably as good a time as any to get started with our segment called Inside Extension. Jessica?
I'm Jessica Killow, and here's what is Inside Extension. Last Saturday, participants from the Coles, Cumberland, Douglas, Moultrie, and Shelby County 4-H Sustainable Energy Spin Clubs came together at Lakeland College. The spin clubs met to race solar cars that they had previously built. The Sustainable Energy Spin Club met once a month to participate in hands-on activities involving sustainable energies. The clubs have built solar cars, working wind turbines, and compost gardens. On March 2nd, the clubs will present sustainable communities that they have constructed at the Cross County Mall. We are now offering a new online course on stored grain pest management. The course was developed for commercial, not for hire applicators needing certification in grain facility and for private applicators needing certification in grain fumigation. The available courses include pesticide safety education for plant management and pesticide safety education for grain pest management. To register for the courses, go to the Extension website. On February 18th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., we're hosting a webinar workshop on fresh market tomatoes. This distance learning program will discuss every aspect of tomato production, from planting and pruning to disease management to harvest and marketing. There is no cost to participate. To register, visit our website. You can log on at home or contact Dave Shiley at 217-543-3755 to access the program at the Extension office in Arthur. And new to our online Certified Crop Advisory training is a module on crop residue and foliar disease. The module explores conventional and conservation tillage and how tillage affects diseases, soil crop residue, erosion, and foliar diseases. Visit our website to get more details and to sign up for the module. While on the website, check for our additional modules. And we will be hosting the workshop, Putting Small Acres to Work, on March 16th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Sarah Bush Lincoln Hospital Education Center in Mattoon. If you are wondering what to do with your 5, 10, or 20 acres, you'll want to attend this workshop. The general session will discuss energy alternatives for small acreage and will be presented at noon during lunch. Breakout sessions include maintaining a healthy pasture, small acreage and beekeeping, fencing for livestock, poultry and egg production, money does grow on trees in your woodland, and growing vegetables and selling through a CSA. There is a registration fee, and registration begins at 8 a.m. at the Education Center. If you have any questions, please contact Dave Shiley at the Arthur Extension office at 217-543-3755. And to receive updates on programs and more information, like us on Facebook or check out the website. For the U of I Extension serving Coles, Cumberland, Douglas, Moultrie, and Shelby counties, I'm Jessica Killow with Inside Extension.
Well, this week was Valentine's Day, and if you're not watching this from the doghouse, you must have done okay. You may have given the gift that if it went by any other name, would smell as sweet. I am, of course, talking about roses. Cameron Craig looks at the history of the flower of love on this week's Under the Four Rivers Sky.
At this time of year, love is in the air, and the best way to show someone true to your heart is with a bouquet of radiant red roses, or a box of scrumptious chocolates, or a dinner with filet mignon. No matter what method you choose to show your love to that special someone, the origins of those tangible items must always be remembered, because the farmer made it possible for love to fill the air. Let's focus on those radiant bouquet of roses and other flowers. Flowers are grown everywhere around the world and shipped to wholesalers here in the United States. Flower farms in South America, Holland, and here in the United States, such as California, grow several varieties of flowers that florists across the country use in vases and arrangements. When it is our winter, the growers in the Southern Hemisphere take the lead, shipping their colors of love to the Northern Hemisphere. When it is our summer, fewer flowers come from the Southern Hemisphere, and California and Holland, for example, dominate the flower industry. During their journey across borders, the boxes of flowers are poked with eyes and noses to detect the possibility of drugs being transported. Occasionally, a critter might find its way on the long journey, which surprises the florist as the box is opened up. During peak flower seasons, such as this one, a dozen roses vased will go for about $60 in smaller cities, while larger urban centers will sell theirs at $150 to $200 due to supply and demand. It is important to understand, and my dad would greatly appreciate me passing this along, that not only are consumers supporting the flower farmers, but each vase of roses or other flower arrangements are supporting the local florist, the designer, and the delivery person. Outside of the season of love, it is sometimes very slow. I know this from experience. But you can help keep things moving during the summer months and in between the major holidays by sending a bouquet of flowers for many different occasions, such as birthdays, anniversaries, and this is an important day, guys, get well situations, and just thinking about someone. Sometimes we are quick to remember those farmers that provide us food, but we must also remember those farmers and florists that provide beauty that translates into love and an occasional, "You are someone very special." And if you're in the doghouse this season, be sure to contact your local florist. They can definitely help.
And finally, in the How Did I Not Hear About This Beforehand category, the 6th Annual Blue Ribbon Bacon Festival took place in Des Moines last weekend, with more than 8,000 visitors eating up more than 10,000 pounds of bacon. Not only bacon, but chocolate dipped bacon, bacon cupcakes, bacon ice cream, and something called the Hamityville Horror Burger, which contained brown sugar and black pepper encrusted pork belly bacon and candied bacon jam. And in the latest haute couture, a bacon queen was crowned who proudly wore a dress made of entirely, you guessed it, bacon. Fry that on for size. Well, I guess I'll go home, eat my rice cakes. Work hard, be safe, and enjoy the beautiful sunsets. I'm Fred Peralta, and thanks for watching the Four Rivers Ag Report.